Lexi Hull doing it all on that defensive possession. Clark. Oh! From another stratus.
There is a stunning, heavy quiet spread across the major sports media networks this morning. The mainstream commentators who spent all week backing head coach Stephanie White, the local reporters who actively helped cover up the fake injury reports, and the WNBA leaders who completely ignored clear fan deception are now looking at Friday night's stat sheet in total, sheer panic. That is because the final numbers did not just bring home a win for the Indiana Fever. They completely and mathematically proved that the front office is run by a group of stressed, self-serving liars. If you are going to try and pull off a massive public relations cover-up against a once-in-a-generation talent, you should probably make sure she does not walk onto the court 2 days later and completely shatter your whole story on national television. Welcome back. This is WNBA Pro. Today, we are opening the doors wide to give you the most shocking, validating, and revealing box score breakdown of this entire 2026 season. We are blending the intense frustration of a fan base that felt completely ripped off on Wednesday night with the solid, undeniable truth of Friday's 90-82 win over the previously unbeaten Golden State Valkyries. If you assume the internal drama tearing apart the Indiana Fever locker room is over just because of one victory, you need to seriously rethink the situation. We are going to look closely at Caitlin Clark's brilliant 22-point game, expose the impossible, magical recovery of her supposed back issues, spotlight the incredible play of Aaliyah Boston, and call out the unbelievable coaching failures Stephanie White just displayed out of pure jealousy. Let us set the stage and pull apart the biggest medical miracle professional sports has ever seen.
Everybody says, now I do got to say all of this is alleged, but for her to play 32 minutes, solid 32, she had 9 assists. She could still possibly pick up this 10th assist with 41 seconds left and get another double-double. She was 7 of 15 for the field so far. She was 4 of 5 on free.
Just 2 days ago, General Manager Amber Cox and head coach Stephanie White told us directly that Caitlin Clark was physically unable to play against the weakest expansion group in the basketball league. She was suddenly pulled from the game only an hour before it started. White stood at the microphone and confidently claimed that Clark woke up with extreme back tightness, saying the training staff had to be incredibly safe and give her back time to rest. The public was told it was a serious, unexpected injury that somehow justified cheating thousands of paying spectators out of their hard-earned money. But then, the bright lights came on for a nationally televised matchup against the undefeated Golden State Valkyries, and suddenly, that broken back was completely healed. Caitlin Clark did not just step onto the court Friday night. She played 32 tough, highly physical minutes against a top-tier defensive powerhouse. She logged more time on the floor than anyone else on her team. She entirely ran the offense, putting up 22 points and handing out 9 assists. She made 46% of her shots from the field, sank 4 of her 9 tries from deep, and earned a +7 rating during her minutes. She looked perfectly sharp, totally confident, and far more dangerous than we have ever seen her. Just think about how completely ridiculous this looks from a medical standpoint. You do not go from having a spine so badly hurt that you cannot even put on a uniform on Wednesday to playing 32 minutes of high-speed, full-court basketball on Friday. It is physically and biologically impossible.
Dart passes, bro. So, no, it was Janelle Sloan and Caitlin Clark. Referees had to step in. Look at Caitlin, guys. Showing how tough she is. Hitting logo threes as well. Getting inside. Just Caitlin is so damn good, bro. I think, man, it's just crazy how...
This particular stat sheet is the ultimate, undeniable proof. It shows mathematically exactly what WNBA Pro has been pointing out from the very start. That Wednesday injury was nothing but a made-up public relations lie. It was a planned rest days trick meant to protect ticket sales, or it was a quiet suspension handed down by a deeply insecure group of coaches. Caitlin Clark was completely fine on Wednesday, but she was kept out anyway. When management realized they were looking at an official investigation from the WNBA league office and a massive financial pushback from fans, they panicked, dropped their fake medical story, and pushed their franchise star back out there to protect their positions. When Caitlin Clark is actually trusted to play without Stephanie White holding her back from the bench, the entire Indiana Fever team performs beautifully. Just look at how Aaliyah Boston played the exact moment Clark came back to pass her the ball. Boston looked like a true, undeniable MVP favorite. She played 29 minutes, completely controlled the inside, scored 20 points on a highly efficient 8 of 15 shooting night, and pulled down an incredible 16 rebounds, including 4 on the offensive end. 16 rebounds! She finished as a plus 15 on the court. This is easily the finest individual performance any Fever player has put together all year. The high-low connections, the fast break passes, and the pick-and-roll plays between Clark and Boston were absolute perfection. This is the exact partnership that makes this roster a massive threat to the rest of the league. We also have to recognize the calm, high-stakes performance of Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell played 31 minutes and went a perfect 11-4-11 from the free throw line, 100%. She wrapped up with 19 points and a +6 rating. When things slow down and the pressure builds, hitting every single free throw is exactly the type of steady play a maximum contract athlete is supposed to deliver. Yet, while the players on the court put together a masterpiece, the head coach on the sideline was actively trying to ruin it.
Call a timeout. I don't know what happened. I got to see what happened, guys. So I'm streaming the game right here on my phone. Why would the Fever call a timeout? Let me see. Oh, probably so they can run a clock. Crazy Caitlin Clark stat just came up. Let me see here.
We really need to address the incredibly petty nature of Stephanie White's player rotations in this matchup. Only 24 hours earlier, the Indiana Fever front office finally gave in to what the analytics crowd was demanding. They cut Shatori Walker-Kimbrough and brought in Grace Van Sluten, a 6'3" athletic forward who offers the exact physical size, transition pace, and defensive energy this roster desperately needs. It was a huge win for basic logic. Management brought in the perfect piece to grab missed shots and push the pace alongside Clark. So, what did Stephanie White do with this crucial new player in a high-stakes matchup against an unbeaten rival? She kept her completely stuck to the bench. She put Grace Van Sluten in the game for exactly 1 minute and 44 seconds. 1 minute and 44 seconds is not strategic coaching. It is nothing but pure, unadulterated pride from a bitter leader. Stephanie White was so incredibly angry that management listened to the fans and brought in a talented forward that she willingly put a basketball game at risk just to make a point. She preferred to play with a small lineup, watch her guards completely tire out, and risk a loss to the Valkyries rather than admit the fans were right. She gave Van Sluten a tiny modern minute just to say she used her, then immediately hid her back on the bench. It is the perfect example of a toxic workplace. The incredible contradictions on this stat sheet do not even end there. Caitlin is simply on another level, honestly. Look, the commentator just mentioned Caitlin. Listen, they literally just called Caitlin Clark an immediate MVP contender. Check out the very bottom of the box score. Look at Temi Fagbenel, DNP due to coach's decision. Do you remember last week? Remember when Stephanie White stood proudly at the press conference microphone and openly promised to run her entire half-court play style through Temi Fagbenel at the high post? Remember when she used Fagbenel as the main reason to take the ball away from Caitlin Clark? That was the exact statement that drove the whole fan base crazy. Now, against the top team in the league, the player who was supposed to be the entire focal point of their half-court offense gets a perfectly healthy benching. She did not play for even 1 second. This completely exposes White's media comments as a total, desperate fabrication. She never had any plan to run things through Fagbenel. She simply wanted to publicly put Caitlin Clark in her place. To keep our total, unbiased analytical reputation, there are genuine, fair worries from this game that we are not going to look past. Caitlin Clark had 6 turnovers, marking the 5th game in a row where Clark has given the ball away 4 or more times. A few were risky passes that missed, and others were great defensive plays by the Valkyries, but the total number is too high, and that is a statistical trend that needs fixing. Additionally, while Mitchell was flawless from the stripe, the squad as a whole missed 7 free throws, hitting just under 76%. Lexi Hull had a worrying 1 of 4 stretch from the line. In a closer game, leaving 7 points behind is a terrible mistake. 16 rebounds with 24 seconds remaining in this contest. Caitlin Clark does not look like she will get a double-double, but you can never be certain. You truly never know. They are fouling right now. So I doubt she manages to get it. 22, 9, and 2, 22 points, 9 assists, and 2 rebounds. Those are solid numbers, honestly. Caitlin Clark has been scoring 20 points a game lately, everyone. She is hitting that average easily. The Indiana Fever took the basketball game 90-82, handing the Golden State Valkyries their very first defeat of the year. They are officially sitting at 4-2, and they were literally just one play away in both of their overtime defeats from being entirely undefeated. On paper, it looks like a wonderful success. But if you truly grasp the mental side of pro sports, you know this box score is a ticking time bomb. Caitlin Clark is currently carrying a completely broken, deeply unhappy organization entirely on her own shoulders. She is giving them 32 minutes a night while her general manager arguments with fans online, and her head coach actively benches new players out of pure jealousy. The front office is holding its breath right now, desperately hoping this 22-point brilliant performance will make the WNBA league office forget about the fake injury updates and the fan deception from Wednesday night. But the fans never forget. We have the proof, we have the dates, and we know the back problem was a total lie. We know Stephanie White is acting like a petty dictator, and we know this team is surviving solely on the incredible determination of a 24-year-old guard who probably wants to leave Indianapolis as fast as she can. This is WNBA Pro. Click that subscribe button right now if you want the absolute, honest, high-energy truth about the messy front office choices in the WNBA that mainstream media is too scared to talk about. Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Does Caitlin Clark playing 32 minutes prove the Indiana Fever faked her injury on Wednesday? And should Stephanie White lose her job for keeping Grace Van Sloten on the bench out of spite? I want to see every single real basketball perspective down in the comments. Turn on your notifications because the official league investigations are still coming, things are changing fast, and we are tracking every single part of this unfolding story. We will see you all in our next video.